Hey guys, thank you so much for coming back to check me out yet another peek again. It's your girl Chrissy, and guess what? I'm back, mother effers. Period. Okay, in today's video, I just wanted to talk to you guys about the unrealistic expectations that you may have or had going into the Loc journey game. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody got to tell you, sis. So I'm here to give it to you, no chaser. Tune in. An unrealistic expectation number one is thinking that A, your Locs are going to be perfect, B, you are going to have a perfect Loc journey. As perfect as I thought my Loc journey was, honestly, it didn't take until about the 3rd to 4th year when I realized that my Loc journey isn't as perfect as I expected it to be, and that kind of rubbed me wrong. And I'll tell you why. Because you know, you come across these YouTube channels with these girls with these juicy locks and those long luxurious locks or thick locks, and you know, it appears as though they don't have any issues. Their color is rich, vibrant, whether it's black, whether it's ombre, whether it's red, whether it's brown, and it just gives you the expectation that, you know, like, my locks are going to be as juicy and flourishing and as perfect as I expected it to be. And guess what? That is not the case for me, and I can pretty much vouch for everybody. Whether you want to admit it or not, everybody in the Loc journey game has experienced an imperfect Loc journey. All have imperfect locks. You don't believe me? Check this out. As you can see, I have only 2 locks on each side of my face, out of my head, okay? Out of the ponytail. And they are all giving different sizes, different stages. There's a little bit of budding going on here. It's cylinder here. This is thicker than this. Totally imperfect. That's not what I bargained for, but that's what I got. So that's just to show you that even the locks on your head is imperfect next to what you may think is a perfect lock compared to another lock. That is just the nature of the Loc journey. You are going to experience imperfect locks and an imperfect journey, but what you can expect, what is a more realistic expectation, is that your Loc journey will be filled with nothing but surprises and something new to learn every single day. Locs are doing something different as they continue to grow and form, and they will always continue to grow and form. You know why? Because this, starting from here, will always have to lock. So you will always experience something different in your Loc journey. That's what you can expect. But what you shouldn't expect is to have perfect locks or a perfect Loc journey, because I'll be the first to tell you, as you get further into this video here, you will learn this journey is the least of perfect. It's perfectly imperfect. Keep watching. Loc expectations number 2. One of the major unrealistic Loc expectations to have is to go into this Loc journey thinking, or even saying, I want my locks to look like hers. I want my locks to look like him. I want my locks to look like my locks. It's not gonna happen, boo. You know why? Because every Loc journey is different. We all have a different shaped head. Circumference on my head alone, honey, okay? Some of us has different hairlines. I happen to have an M&M shaped hairline. Some people have a full hairline. I wish I can have that. I went to this Loc journey saying I want my locks to look like Duchess. When my loctician started my locks, I wanted my locks to look like Duchess. But let me tell you, do this look like Duchess hairline? Not by far. She has a full, thick hairline. I have a very fine hairline. I couldn't get Duchess locks if I prayed or paid for Duchess locks, okay? I'm just saying that to say you cannot expect your locks to look like anybody else's locks. Once again, you can't even expect your own locks to look like your own locks. That's just not how this journey goes. It is literally unidentical to each lock. If it's unidentical to the lock next to your own lock on your own, it is definitely not going to match somebody else's. What you can expect and what's realistic is that your locks will uniform in a way that they choose and please to. No matter how much you try to manipulate, your locks will do its own thing, even through manipulation. Once again, what's a realistic expectation is that your locks will have its own fingerprints on your head. That is it, and that is all. Lock expectation number 3. Somebody should have told you guys this from a long time before, because they didn't tell me this. So I thought that because I started my locks with longer hair, that my locks were going to be long. I was always going to have a head start before other people, and that just simply wasn't the case. Just because you start locks with longer hair does not mean that your locks will be longer than anybody else that started locks with shorter hair. Granted, that may be the case for some, but at the end of the day, that wasn't my case. When I started my lock journey, I started my lock journey with a decent amount of hair, okay? I say decent, okay? But overall, in the end, my hair definitely did shrink within the first year of being locked, literally, ear length, okay? And after the first year, they stretched down a little bit, and then they shrunk back up again. I thought because I started my lock journey with longer hair that my locks were going to be dripping and I didn't have anything to worry about, but that was the least of what happened. One thing for sure, one thing to expect, you start your lock with longer hair, good. It doesn't matter if you start with your locks with longer or shorter hair. I done seen some people that started their locks with a teeny weeny afro and hair supersedes mine in the same stage as I. You know, that only told me one thing. It's what you least expect. It's more about your genetics, what you put into your hair, what you take out to your hair. What are you feeding in your body, your mind, and soul? Stress can do a damage. Honestly, at the end of the day, I save that for number 5. Keep watching. An unrealistic lock expectation is thinking that you will never experience buildup. Yes, I was that person that thought I was never going to experience buildup, and unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Although I may not have experienced product buildup, I definitely did experience and do experience lint buildup. Unfortunately, lint buildup is just something that you cannot escape. You know why? I mean, unless you live in a warmer climate and you don't need to wear a sweater or a jacket, okay? Obviously, my locks will probably be filled with more lint than it has because I've been working from home and haven't had a need to leave the house to put on, you know, sweaters and jackets and things of that nature because we have heat bumping over here. But at the end of the day, one thing you cannot avoid is buildup. Only you can determine if it's going to be product or lint. Like I said, in my imperfect lock journey, I never thought that I was going to experience anything like buildup. Although I haven't experienced product buildup, I do have lint buildup on the lower parts of my nape of my neck. And you know what? I can't stress myself out about it because honestly, it's nothing I can do but wear my hair up. And the longer my hair grows and the longer my ponytail becomes, it's becoming inevitable. So I'm going to experience lint buildup. The best thing that you can do for the most part is when you're sitting at home, chilling, working from home, sipping tea, watching TV, put your hair up and put it in a bonnet. As far as product buildup, avoid heavy products. The best items to use in your hair is natural oils, water, rose water, and that's pretty much it. Something that is water soluble. And you can avoid product buildup, but you're going to experience the buildup, and that's a realistic expectation. Unrealistic expectation number 5. It is so unrealistic to think that because you dye your locks that you are not going to experience any damage. I'm here to tell you, you're going to experience damage. Don't shoot the messenger. Shoot the product. Seriously, like, honestly, no matter how much you try to avoid it, you are going to experience damage due to color. And that's just period. You know why? Because you're stripping your hair. the best thing that you can do is choose the right product. It doesn't matter if you choose black or blonde. Yes, blonde may be more harsh, but black, if you're still using permanent dye, it is still going to cause damage. You won't be able to see the results as fast as you would see it when you're actually stripping it. I know it may be hard to tell, but I have actually dyed my locks and I bleached it several times in one setting, and it was the worst thing that I could have ever done. I have a video on that probably nobody barely got to see, but I'll leave it in the description or the cards or linked below. But yes, I have caused severe damage to my locks, but honestly, the best thing that you can do is if you choose to dye your locks with permanent dye or bleach, you have to act fast. You will have to re-implement some protein back into your locks. Your hair needs the protein. And when you are dyeing or bleaching your locks, you are totally stripping your hair from the protein that it needs. Somebody like me, which I'll get further into in another video, but I definitely do protein treatments into my locks every 6 months, mainly because I know that my locks are color treated and I need to treat it appropriately. So I do protein treatments, which I will share in a later video of how that works. But for the most part, yes, you are going to have damage. And I know some people don't like to use conditioner, and I'm okay with that. If you don't like to use conditioner, I use cream conditioners. That's my thing. But outside of cream conditioners, outside of heavy oils, I would like to do a protein treatment because it's the protein that your hair is lacking, which is your hair has damage. So the more you implement protein into it, but not too much, your hair will be okay. It is unrealistic to expect no damage when you color your hair. No matter how safe you try to be, no matter how much conditioners you use, no matter whether you use semi-permanent or bleach, your hair is going to experience some type of damage due to it. It's how you respond to that damage. So expect to be on point. Expect a protein treatment, conditioner, or heavy oils that will be able to seal in that moisture that it is lacking. And I emphasize, strongly urge you to do a protein treatment. Unrealistic lock expectation number 6. Last but not least, I want to talk about lock growth. And I know this may ruffle a lot of feathers because it makes a lot of people feel good by saying, hey, she started out with longer hair than I. That's why her hair is longer than mine. Unfortunately, I know people that started out with hair shorter than mine and their hair is still longer than mine. You know the saying, oh, if you cut your hair or trim your hair grows faster. Some people did that to expect their hair to grow faster. I started my lock journey, as I mentioned earlier, with longer hair, thinking that I can catch up and speed up on the time frame of how fast my hair grow. Truth be told, a realistic expectation is simply, if your hair was struggling growing and you did everything appropriate, it's struggling because of your genetics. It's struggling because of what you put in or take out of your hair. It's struggling because of what you lack or what you need. You're not simply DNA. My hair never had issues struggling with growth. I never struggled with growth. 9 times out of 10, if you didn't struggle with growth before you started your lock journey, your hair is still going to grow at the same pace, maybe even a little better, but it's not going to speed up the process because you start with longer hair per se, and it's not going to dim it. Your hair is going to grow at its same rate, whether locked or not. It's unrealistic to believe just because you locked your hair was going to grow faster and everything is going to become magical and it's going to be super long. That's just not the case. For some people, it's literally genetics, and that's just all it is. No matter how much love you put into it, no matter how much time, no matter how much water you drink, keep out or in your hair, no matter if you use the best organic of the organics, okay, of oil or rose water or whatever, whether you trim your locks or let it grow, it doesn't even matter at the end of the day. It all depends and boils down to genetics. And I'm just sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just what it is. Some things that you've done while you were a loose natural prevented your hair from growing to its fullest potential, and now that your locks are locked, it's able to reach a length that it hasn't reached before. But that doesn't mean that the growth of your locks are going to grow faster or shorter. It just simply means that it's able to reach a certain potential that it wasn't able to reach before because you simply left it alone. and there's no damage or minimal damage. So at the end of the day, I hope this video was somewhat insightful for you. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but somebody had to tell you, sis. These unrealistic expectations will disappoint us in the end, because there's not a lot of people talking about their mishaps. And you know what? I would be the one to tell you, when my Locs are going through breakage, when I'm losing ends, when I'm going through damage, when I'm experiencing this and that. Loc journeys are not as glamorized as your favorite Loc stars try to make it to be. And that's just the real bottom line. That's the real tea. The one thing I can assure you to expect out of your Loc journey when you start this Loc journey is the unexpected. And that's realistic. Thanks for watching. Peace and love and harmony, and be blessed. Put some stank on it. Yes.
This